Are you planning your year-end fundraising campaign right now? Getting your messaging right is going to be critical to your success. So in this video, I'm going to share some tips to make your messaging inspiring and compelling and get your donors to give to your year-end fundraising campaign. Welcome back. My name is Amber Melanie Smith, and I'm a nonprofit founder and executive director. I love making these videos here on YouTube to help people who are on their social impact journey through nonprofits or social enterprise or other ways that you can make a difference. As always, I hope you find this video helpful and useful. Don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. If you are in the process of starting a nonprofit or developing a sustainable fundraising plan for your organization, check out my online trainings at my website, foundertofulltime.com, and I hope that those can help you out. Okay, so you probably know this, but November and December are the biggest periods of the year for fundraising. According to Nonprofit Tech for Good, like 31% of all giving that happens in the entire year happens in December itself. There are many aspects to putting together what will hopefully be a successful year-end fundraising campaign, like deciding your fundraising goal and deciding the format, whether you're going to be doing a letter appeal or do fundraising online or crowdfunding or all of the above combined. But once you've figured out all of those components, the most important thing is to get your message right. So I'm going to go through 6 tips that will hopefully help you craft an inspiring message. Let's get into it. All right, tip number 1 is to pick a theme for your messaging for your fundraising campaign. Just like you might pick a theme for a party or a fundraising event, having a theme for your campaign for the end of the year is going to create a unifying, inspiring message that will get your donors to give. I find it helpful when picking a theme to think about what my organization is doing right now in the context of the grander scheme of the world, the things that are going on in the world. A good fundraising campaign theme will have a few things in common. It will be action-oriented, so we'll have language in it that includes an ask, like do X or X something. You know, it feels not passive, but it feels proactive and action oriented. It will be not too long or complicated. It will be short and simple. And most importantly, the theme will align with your organization's brand and mission. All right, let's take a look at a few example themes that I found that I thought were pretty great. Charity Water, one of their fundraising campaign themes was "Nothing is crazy." That feels really inspiring to me. Like, dream big, like, you know, supporting them will make big, unexpected things possible. I like that. A group called Athletes for Cancer had a theme of "No Waitlist." And I've never heard of this organization before I researched this, but that theme tells me a lot about this organization. It tells me that they value reaching every person that they can. They value providing good services, and that by supporting whatever this fundraising campaign is, you're going to make sure that they reach everyone. So that's really compelling to me. A group called the John Wayne Cancer Foundation had a theme of "Show Your Grit." Big fan of grit, so I liked that one. And then I made up a couple of examples here on my own, but I'm sure someone has used these or something like these at some point. Plant the future. This might be a theme for an organization that focuses maybe on gardening or nature or tree planting or something like that. Dig deep. So it's, you know, double meaning. You're asking your donors to dig deep, or to dig deep into their pocketbooks or into their souls. And maybe that would be a theme for, I don't know, building water wells or something like that. And then A Million Meals might be a good campaign theme for an organization focused on food insecurity. Anyway, I hope that those get your brain wheels turning and thinking about what a great theme for your campaign could be. All right, so you got your theme. Now it's time to think about your audience. Tip number 2 is to know your audience. If you already have a donor database, you want to see if you can study it and glean whatever you can about things that your donors might have in common with each other or with the community, or things that they might have in common with others who serve in your cause. Are your donors primarily people with families? Are they pet lovers? Are they people who live in specific areas of the town? Anything you can pick up from looking at your donor list and your donor database is going to help you tailor messaging that might be more inspiring to them. For example, if you know that a lot of your donors have families, then perhaps later on in your messaging, you might use a story about a family that was positively impacted by your work. All right, tip number 3 is to personalize your message. You want your donor to feel like the message that they have received is specifically to them. And there are a couple of ways to do this. The first is what I just referenced, which is tailoring your messaging to your audience. So making it feel like it's going to resonate with them personally. But the other things are just technical, like making sure that you're using their first name in your emails or in your letter appeals, making sure that their name is spelled correctly, things like that, things that show that you honor them as individuals and not just as people who might give you money. Okay, the 4th tip for messaging your year-end fundraising campaign is to be sure to share your impacts in your messaging. And I say that this is a good idea to do in all fundraising year-round, and that is absolutely true. And you want to keep doing that. You want to keep showcasing the good work that you are doing to justify your need and use of the donations that you are receiving in. So what have you all been working on throughout the whole year leading up to this year-end request that you're making? And what does the future hold? What will donors be able to help you achieve by giving? And if you can, be as specific as possible. Maybe there is a new position you're trying to fund, and if you can fund that staff position, you're going to be able to double the amount of people or animals that your organization can serve. That's pretty specific, and the outcome is pretty great there. Maybe you're trying to fund a specific investment in equipment or a building. It can also be for general operating funds too. There's nothing wrong with that. Just explain all of the things that you're going to be able to do with increased capacity as an organization with the donors' funds. All right, tip number 5 is kind of related to tip number 4, sharing your impacts, and that is to share the story of one person, or if you serve animals or community, one story of impact. And storytelling is very, very powerful in fundraising. There's some good research out there that even describes how it's more powerful than sharing statistics, because people can wrap their brains around the story of someone and empathize more with the story of someone than they could a statistic that is more abstract. And in this story, you really want it to have a pretty particular story arc, and that is, there was a need, this person encountered our organization, we served them to the best of our ability, and as a result of that, the person's need was met. Their life was transformed somehow for the better. You want to show the cause and effect. Because of your organization, this happened, right? One tip that I recommend, something I've been doing recently, is it can be hard to especially if you're moving quickly and there's so much good to be done, it can be hard to remember all of the things that you accomplished in a year and all of the great stories that you might have had your work facilitate through your organization. So one thing I like to do is actually keep a log of stories of impacts, keeping them all in one place so that if I need to find the perfect story to tell for the perfect situation, I can go reference my list of stories and think what would be the most compelling story for this particular situation to make my point and to inspire this particular audience. So that's something I recommend doing, is to watch constantly for stories and then write them down as soon as they happen. so that you can remember them for later. All right, and the sixth and final tip that I'm gonna share with you is to not forget your call to action. There's nothing worse than writing the most inspiring message and stories and all that possible, but then you forget to do the very thing you set out to do, which was ask for support. The call to action is the literal request for money, request for support, whatever it is that you're hoping the person reading your message will do after reading your message. That is the call to action. So you always want to make sure that you close out with a very clear, succinct call to action, like donate now, donate here, donate to help us save more lives, etc. And then the next part of that is you have to make it easy. You can't make it complicated to figure out how to fulfill the call to action. Make your donation link easy to find, easy to spell. When people get on your donation link, assuming you're doing an online campaign, it's gotta be a good user experience on the page itself. It shouldn't be complicated to fill out the form to make the donation. Anything like that is just one more barrier stopping someone from giving you money, and we don't want that. All right, I'd love to hear from you. Are you currently in the midst of planning your year-end fundraising campaign or any fundraising campaign? And what did you think of some of these messaging ideas? Or maybe you have other tips for other people planning their fundraising campaigns. Be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments below as always. As I mentioned before, if you're starting a nonprofit or developing that sustainable fundraising plan, check out my trainings at foundertofulltime.com. I also have a newsletter that I send out to aspiring changemakers and nonprofit leaders with resources, tips, and sometimes funding opportunities that I come across. You can subscribe to that using the link below this video. And final thing, I have a group on Facebook called Change the World or Bust. So I hope you can come join me and a couple thousand other people from around the world there too. Once again, I'm Amber Melanie Smith. I hope that you found this useful and helpful. Don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you next time.